Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, Tom versus Gaming, and today we are playing another Star Stable video. Now, in this video, we are actually going to be doing something a little different. Now, today I want to talk about the Star Stable chat restrictions. Now, if you guys have not heard or did not know, Star Stable, the Star Stable team and the Star Stable staff are working towards restricting the chat even more. Now, when I say by even more, I'm just going to type something in chat really quick to show you guys. So if I try to say hello, you can't because it's restricted. But if you say... Oh, whoops. No, that's not what I wanted to do. And I got a little glitch. Glitch of the day. Alright, so anyway. And then if I try to say something like... Wanna do a race, which pretty much you would be talking to one of your friends or someone else, and that's restricted too. You can't really see much in this, and they want to restrict it even more than it already was, which is kind of the problem here, because, well, every time when we try to say something, it just doesn't come out right, or it's like starred, or you can't understand, you can't even make a sentence. So basically, with the chat restrictions, they're restricting the chat even more than it already is. Now, right here, I have a couple of things I want to talk about. So I want to talk about the chat restrictions, and then I want to talk about what this means for Star Riders. I also want to talk about why it's going to lose its main purpose of being an MMORPG game. I also want to talk about how restricting chat isn't going to stop bullying. I also want to do another one saying that restricting chat isn't going to stop people or predators or people from getting to others. Why it makes Star Stable look money hungry. And an easier way to fix this problem. And then I'm also going to talk about they will lose population in the games as well. So there's also might be one more thing as well. I want to talk about, but I will get to that later. Oh wait, no, I remember now. They will lose population to the game, meaning that people will stop playing because of it. So, we are just going to get straight into this and basically say, so, okay then, that was a weird glitch. Anyway, so, what this means for non-paying members or non-Star Riders. So basically what this means is that non-paying members, such as myself, are not going to be able to use certain chats, such as friend chat and other chats like that. I will not be able to use any sort of chat at all, which is one thing. Then, another thing, we will basically be restricted from all chats, if that makes sense. And which will take away our communication with other people, which will make it so this isn't an MMORPG as much as it was before the chat restrictions. So basically what it means is that we are not going to be able to communicate with each other as well as we were before, which is a really big problem because now we're not going to be able to, well, we're not going to be able to communicate and, like, you know, talk to each other and chat with each other and like ask a simple question like, do you want to race, or something like that. Now, the second one I want to talk about is the MMORPG. Now, with the MMORPG, I think it means mass multiplayer online game, if that's correct. So, when they do these chat restrictions, there is a big problem with this. With the chat restrictions, it's gonna make it so this is not gonna be really even a MMO game anymore, which is gonna make it even harder for them to like call it an MMORPG game, because it's not mass multiplayer if you cannot communicate with other players. So it doesn't really make that much sense to call it a mass multiplayer online game if you restrict the chat to the point where you have to pay to even use the chat. Now, and I will talk about my personal opinions on that later, and that in a little bit. Next thing I want to talk about is restricting chat isn't going to stop bullying in Star Stable. Now, in Star Stable, there is a bullying problem. I was not one of the people who got bullied, but I did know that it was a problem in the community, and a lot of people were saying that this is a problem. So, this is not the way to go about getting rid of bullies, because in it, basically, it doesn't stop people from bullying others. And in fact, if someone who's bullying somebody else is a star writer, it's not going to change a dang thing. It's not going to, because if the person's going to bully somebody else, then they're going to bully somebody else. And if they're a star writer and they don't have any chat restrictions, well, then they can just bully too. And I don't think they're going to start banning star writers, because then they're just going to either feel bad or it's just not going to feel right, because they already paid for the game, but at the same time, they did break a major rule, which is do not bully anyone or make anyone feel lower than you. And another thing, is that even if people want to chat with each other, they're just going to go onto another social media site, such as Facebook, or sorry, not Facebook, Hangouts, Messenger, I don't know, Skype, Discord, you know, some random communication site. And that's kind of the thing, though, because, well, when there's communication sites like that, people are just not going to use this chat. They're going to go over into those, like, social media sites and use those chats. So if someone wants to bully somebody else, it's not going to really stop them, because, I mean, like, because even in that chat, well, guess what? They could say whatever they want, and they can't get in trouble for it, which is another problem. And the other thing I really want to talk about, and this one makes perfect sense, and I do not remember the YouTuber that brought this up, but they make an excellent point. I will try to get the YouTuber and put them down in the link in the description, but I do not remember. So, anyway, basically, the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is the fourth thing on the list, restricting chat is not going to prevent predators from meeting up with people on Star Stable, if that makes sense. So as you guys know, I'm pretty sure most of you guys know who predators are. But basically, apparently, I did not know about this until until very late recently. But Star Stable had a problem with predators before. Now, you may ask, what do you mean by predators? Well, basically people who are trying to get on the game and meet younger girls and try to meet up with them without even really knowing them at all. Now, this is the kind of the thing here, because you have to think of how many cases predators actually show up in police reports. So think about it this way: if there's a predator, they're not just gonna sit there and they're just not gonna just play the game and just hope that they're gonna be able to say what they want in chat. No, predators usually go through mass amounts of money and other things like that to get to girls. You have to think about this, because some predators use plane ticket, they buy plane tickets, they buy plane passes, they go across states, countries, they will drive, slash walk long distances, they will do anything they can to get their hands on somebody. And the biggest thing here is, well, the predators. That's the kind of the problem here, because, well, it's not going to stop them from doing anything, because, in fact, it's probably going to increase the problem of predators, because if people are able to, you know, go to, like, a Discord or some other, like, social media site, well, that's just going to make it even more vulnerable, again, and yes, I do know that it kind of does have a little play into the, it's not gonna stop bullying either, but it's just not gonna really help anything, knowing that there's gonna be predators in the game, and that you're restricting the chat and making it so someone can't call out for help. Because I mean, like, if you're in a social media site, the person cannot be caught as easily. But if you're playing, you know, if you're playing Star Stable and someone reports this, then it's gonna be 10 times easier to find the person. And it just doesn't make sense to me why they would try to get rid of the chat in here, just to make it so someone else could go somewhere else to then just, well, you know, have it be harder for them to, well, not be stalked down by a predator, if that makes sense. So it's actually gonna what my theory is, it's actually going to increase the predators, because, well, they're just going to go to an online social media site, and then they're going to get more information about that person because of the site. Okay, so that was the 4th thing I wanted to talk about. Now the 5th thing, it makes Star Stable look money hungry. And in all honesty, it kind of does, because if you think about it, you now have to pay at least, I would say, like, $20 to $75 just to use the chat. And it makes them look really, really bad. It's almost like they're following what EA Sports did. And for those of you guys who didn't know what EA Sports did, they created a microtransaction, which is basically a payment in the game to add something like a deal. It's pretty much like a DLC pack, or like to add like a special like type of design or clothing or something like that. It just goes all to different lengths and stuff. But basically, what EA did is they created, I think it was not Team Fortress 2, it was Battlefront 2, I think it was, I'm pretty sure. But basically, they made it a pay-to-win game, so basically, if you paid money, you would always win the game. If you paid, they also made it so it was a pay-to-progress type thing, so they had to pay to progress in the game. And that kind of seems similar to Star Stable if you think about it, but I will get to that a little later. Now, here is the deal here. So, it makes them look money hungry because, well, they're restricting chat, which is usually the most easy thing to manage ever in games, and, well, it's making a lot of people stay away from Star Stable if you think about it, because, well, they can't really, because if they can't chat with people and they can't make friends on the game, well, it's kind of just boring at that point. So, well, that's another thing, because if the game becomes boring, they're just gonna lose pretty much all their credibility. So it's not really logical to try to get rid of that. So anyway, another thing that I wanted to talk about was there's an easy way to fix this problem. So with the chat restrictions, you could take a variety of games, because, well, there is a very, very mass amount of games that have good chat restrictions. So such as a Minecraft server, they have great restrictions. because you could still say stuff, but but some things are still restricted, if that makes sense. So, in this, one of the ways that they could potentially end this problem a little easier is they could make it so they could ban certain words or certain words being used in a certain sentence in a certain way, if that makes sense. So that people cannot be rude or say any words in chat that should not be said, such as swear words or just normal, or just like people saying like mean things to other players. But it would be way easier just to do that instead of, well, you know, restricting chat completely from non-star riders. Because, I mean, if you're a star rider, either way, you're still gonna bully somebody. And that's the problem here, is that, like, if you're a star rider and you're a bully or you're a predator, well, guess what? It's not gonna really prevent anything from restricting chat. They're still gonna do it. They're still gonna, you know, try to either, like, make somebody feel bad, or they're still gonna try to, like, meet up with somebody. They're still trying to get to meet other people. And meeting people is not necessarily a bad thing, but it is if they are the predator. If they are a predator. Sorry, that really did not make sense there. Anyway, continuing on. But anyway, they could just basically do that, or they can make it so if someone says something rude in chat, then someone can get either video or photographic evidence of this person being rude to this person, and then they could be banned for a certain amount of time. But every time they get when they get banned, they either get stuff taken away from them, like certain privileges or stuff like that, or their like level of their player or horse goes down, or they lose gear, and even maybe the time just gets longer until the point where they just get banned for life. Like, basically say, like, the first time it's like an hour ban, the next time it's like a day ban, the next time it's like a week ban, and then the next time it's like a 3-month ban, something like that. And then, like, if they do it, like, the last time, then just complete, like, full, like, either a year or just life, or just for life. No matter if they have Star Rider or not, because, well, here's the thing, they paid for the game, yes, and if they ask for their money back, you do not have to give their money back, because they broke a rule that should not have been broken in this game. So therefore, they do not get their money back, period. So if they bought Star Rider, and then even if they're Star Rider or not, but if they bought Star Rider, they should not get their money back, period, because, well, guess what? If they got banned for life and they had lifetime, well, guess what? That sucks to be you, but it's just not how it works. Because it just doesn't work. If I just lost train of thought, I'm so sorry, guys. Anyway, I'm pretty sure you guys get the point that I was trying to get at there. So I'm just going to move on to the next one, and this one is the final one on chat restrictions. And this is, they will lose population. Guaranteed, no matter what, they will lose fans in Star Stable and players in Star Stable if they do this chat restriction, because they made it so basically non-paying members can't chat. Or, sorry, they're going to make it so non-paying members can't really chat with other people unless they're using their social media site. So that's the thing, because people are gonna leave, because if they can't afford it, then it's just gonna be a big problem, because I don't think everyone's just gonna be like, oh, I need Star Rider so then I can chat and progress in the game. Okay, maybe progress in the game is a viable reason, but to type something in chat, no, you should not have to pay to put a couple letters in the chat. That's just a little insane to me. You have to pay so much money just to type maybe like a couple hundred, maybe 1,000 words, depending on how often you actually type or text to people on this game. And it's gonna cause a lot of people to leave, and Vixen Army, who was in my last Star Stable video, my very first one, which we were at the disco party dancing together. She said that she's getting lifetime very, very soon. And here's the problem with this. If she does get lifetime, she said that she is not going to use the chats, period, if the chat restrictions go through, because she says that it is unfair to all the non-paying players, which we both are at the moment, because we cannot basically say anything or do anything in chat while being on Star Rider. So when she gets Star Rider which is lifetime, she is refusing to use chat because she entirely hates the fact that Star Riders gets the ability to chat, but non-Star Riders don't. And why they decided to do this, I don't know, but it just doesn't make any sense. So therefore, people will leave the game and they will not play, because honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna play, because I can't even communicate with people, with pretty much anyone, as it is now. They go through this chat restrictions, I guarantee you there will be so many people who will just leave. And if they don't leave, well, guess what? It's not really the game they said it was gonna be, because they keep doing these restrictions that make the game even more difficult and hard to play and make more friends. So that's kind of the thing I'm trying to get out here. So, and then the other thing I want to mention is they are being just as bad as EA Sports. Now, like I said, EA Sports made Battlefront 2 and basically made it added microtransactions that basically had to play into with the progression system, thus meaning that they made people play to actually play their full game, and then continued to make a pay to win, a pay to progress type game, which made it even worse. And and here's the thing, I can see Star Stable in this a lot, and the only reason why I say this is because Star Stable is already a pay to progress game. You get to a certain part in the game, and then you cannot proceed anymore in the game until you have paid more money so you could actually get the Star Rider areas. So it's already a pay to progress game, which is horrible and is bad for any game as it is. And then they also decided to make it a pay to win game by making it so when you pay money and you get Star Rider, you can level up your player more, get better stuff, and get your horse to a higher level. So already it's being that it's just like already a pay to win and a pay to progress system, which is basically what EA Sports did, but they did it to a much higher extent. But for some reason I could just see Star Stable actually going into that kind of, like, what do you want to call it? That kind of level and extent to do that to Star Stable players, which I really do disagree with. Like, they shouldn't even make anyone to play for really almost anything on this game. Like, I know that they may need money to keep this game going, but I mean, they could do it in smaller ways other than making people pay large and mass amounts of money to play this game. And once again, it's not okay to make people pay to put a couple freaking words or letters in chat. It's just not worth it. I mean, yes, you could say that you get chat, you get more areas, you could level up your player more, you can get more horses, you get star coins, etc, etc, etc. But it's still just not okay what they are doing. like, no matter what you have, no matter what your say is in this is, it's still not an okay thing. And that's kind of the thing here, is because it's just not okay. That's really the big main problem here. Alright. And then, the last thing I want to talk about is, if they banned me for uploading this video and speaking out against them, if that makes sense, then this shows that they do not care about their players and how they about their players, and they do not want them to speak their mind. Now, basically, what this means is people have been getting banned off of Star Stable for speaking their mind and saying that this is a horrible idea and they shouldn't do it, and here's all the reasons why. I don't know the name. I don't quite remember the two names of the people. I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting the names of the people I was going to mention in this video. But basically, this is what happened. So they decided to say or tell the Star Stable team / staff that this was not a good idea and this wasn't gonna work out and this shouldn't become a thing. Well, the Star Stable team / staff retaliated by banning them and making it so they could not play for a certain amount of time / forever. Their accounts were just completely banned and wiped off Star Stable because they just decided to speak out against, well, you know, them. Which they shouldn't do, because I mean, they should always try to listen to the players' opinions and beliefs about the game, because then they would make it more. Then they would have what players want instead of just what they want. Now, another thing, they do not. If they ban me, then it shows that they do not care. Oh wait, I already mentioned that. Never mind. I just forgot to mention there's my second one. All right. Anyway, so then it will, and then if they ban me, it will show that they actually are money hungry. Because if you think about it this way, they banned me for speaking out to make it so they banned me for speaking out and saying this is not okay, which basically what I'm saying is that they should not be forcing people to buy memberships and stuff like this. So if they ban me, then they obviously do not want me to be doing these kind of videos and stuff like this. So they can make more money. So it will just basically prove that they are money hungry and they just want to continue with their plans and they do not care on what we have to say / what we think, because because it's just not right, and it just will prove that they're money hungry. If it makes, and it will prove that they're money hungry in a sense, because, well, just that. Alright, so then the last thing I want to talk about is that they are going to become worse than EA Sports. And I believe that if they do ban me, and if they do go with these chat restrictions, they will be worse than EA Sports. Because EA Sports already made microtransactions in that one game, and made the microtransactions in the game, and made it a pay to win and a pay to progress type of game. Well, guess what? It was a pay to win, pay to progress game, and they had microtransactions. But in this one, they have a pay to win and pay to progress, and they're banning and if they were to ban me, then they're banning players for speaking out against them and speaking their mind, which is, well, horrible. That also has to do, and then that would make them worse than EA Sports because of, well, that reason. So then that's pretty much what I just wanted to talk about here, because EA Sports did horrible, and guess what? Their sales and their ratings and their population of their games dropped so significantly that they lost 95% of their population. One of the biggest companies in the world just pretty much got destroyed by one of their games having this one feature that just completely destroyed and ruined their entire company and build up and pretty much everything about them. And I do not want to see that happen to Star Stable. I have just started playing this game like not even more than a week ago, and I've already fell in love with the game. Even though I'm a boy, I do not care about any criticism I'm going to get in the comments or whatever saying that I'm a girl because I play a girl game. I do not believe in a girl and a boy game, because there's no such thing as a girl and a boy color either. And we should not be forced to play a certain game just because there's only girl or boy players. So, anyway, that is all I want to talk about today, and I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. And if you did, go down, hit that like and subscribe button, and comment down below what you guys would want me to do next. Now, also, I would like to give a big shout out to Vixen Army. Her channel is linked in the description, and there should be a pop-up in the top left corner on her channel to check it out. And this is all I want to talk about, guys. I hope you guys all found this somewhat educational to Star Stable and stuff like this. And if you did, well, that's good. That was my main purpose, and that was just me to try and educate Star Stable players about this small little problem. So anyway, guys, I will see you guys all next time. Goodbye.